Everybody wants a shortcut. You see it everywhere. People looking for the easy path, the magic pill, the secret formula that will make success painless and quick. But let me tell you, real success doesn't work like that. There's no shortcut for discipline. There's no shortcut for hard work. There's no shortcut for consistency. But there is one shortcut that's real. It's the only one worth chasing. And that shortcut is learning from mistakes that aren't yours. Most people waste years looking for the easy road, when the easiest road has been in front of them the whole time. It's not about skipping the work, it's about skipping the scars. It's not about avoiding the effort, it's about avoiding the needless pain. Here's the truth. If you're wise, you can cut the price of experience in half. You can still learn the lesson, but without paying the full cost. You can still gain the wisdom, but without losing the time, the money, or the reputation. Too many people say, I'll just learn the hard way. And yes, you can. But why would you, when others have already paid the bill? Why repeat mistakes that history has already written down for you? You know, if you're heading down a new road and someone tells you, don't turn left, there's a ditch there, you don't say, well, I'd rather find out for myself. No, you listen, you turn right, and you keep moving. That's the shortcut. Avoiding the ditch because someone else already found it. The illusion of shortcuts is that success can be effortless. The reality of the only true shortcut is that success can be less costly, less painful, less delayed if you're willing to learn from others. That's the first principle. Stop chasing fake shortcuts. Start using the only one that works, learning from mistakes that aren't yours. Now let's talk about the cost of personal mistakes. Because while mistakes are great teachers, they are also very expensive. Experience is a tough instructor. It teaches you the lesson, yes, but only after it charges you full price. And sometimes that price is high. A mistake in business can cost you years of your life and thousands of dollars. And here's the danger. Some mistakes are so costly that recovery takes decades. Some people never fully recover at all. I've seen people make one bad decision and spend the next 10 years trying to climb out of the hole. Not because they lack talent, but because the mistake drained their resources, their confidence, and their time. Of course, mistakes will come. No one is perfect, but if you insist on making every mistake yourself, you slow your own progress to a crawl. You don't have enough years in your lifetime to learn every lesson firsthand. If you take the long road of trial and error, you'll run out of years before you run out of lessons. I once met a young man who said, I want to learn everything through my own experience. And I told him that's one way to do it, but it's also the slowest and most expensive way. Why spend 10 years learning what someone could teach you in 10 minutes? Why pay full price when you could borrow the lesson for free? Some mistakes drain your wallet, some drain your time, some drain your confidence, and some drain all three. That's the cost of learning everything the hard way. So the key is not to avoid all mistakes. You can't. The key is to avoid the ones you don't need to make. Don't insist on touching every hot stove yourself. Let someone else's burn teach you not to touch it. That's wisdom. That's leverage. That's the beginning of the real shortcut. Now let's talk about the power of borrowed lessons. Because if personal mistakes are expensive, then borrowed lessons are the bargain of a lifetime. Think about it. Every successful person you admire has a trail of mistakes behind them. Some cost money, some cost relationships, some cost years. And if you're wise, you don't have to repeat those mistakes. You can borrow the wisdom without paying the price. Where do you find those lessons? In mentors, in books, in biographies, in seminars, in quiet observation of the people around you. Every one of those sources is like a window into someone else's experience. They lived it, they paid for it, they got the scars. You get to collect the lesson at almost no cost. I've spent years reading the lives of successful men and women, and here's what I discovered. Biographies are shortcuts. They compress decades into days. One book can save you from 5 years of trial and error. One seminar can reveal a principle that protects you from a decade of mistakes. One mentor's warning can keep you from falling into a trap that took them half their life to climb out of. I remember listening to a man who built a business empire. He said he once lost millions by trusting the wrong partner. It went a lot deeper than that, but that one story taught me the importance of due diligence in partnerships. I didn't need to lose millions to learn that. He already paid the bill. All I had to do was take his unfortunate lesson seriously. That's the leverage of borrowed mistakes. Every mistake avoided is time saved. Every scar you don't need to collect is energy preserved. Every failure you sidestep moves you forward faster than the person who insists on learning everything the hard way. And here's the best part. You don't just avoid mistakes, you also inherit strategies. Learning from others doesn't just tell you what not to do, it shows you what works. It shortens the distance between where you are and where you want to be. So ask yourself, how many mistakes could you avoid if you truly listened to those who've gone before you? How much time could you save if you treated their failures as your own warnings? How much further could you go if you built on their lessons instead of repeating their errors? That's the power of borrowed lessons. They don't eliminate the need for effort, but they accelerate the reward. They take you further, faster, and with fewer scars. So how do you actually use this shortcut? It's not enough to hear the idea. You've got to put it into motion. The first thing to do is seek out people who are ahead of you. Look for men and women who've walked the path you want to walk. Watch them. Listen to them. Ask questions. Don't just admire their victories. Study their scars. Pay attention when they talk about what went wrong secondhand. So here's the principle to live by. Don't just learn from your own mistakes. Learn from every mistake you can find. Collect them, study them, apply them. And every time you avoid one, you save yourself years of recovery. Remember, success is not only about effort, it's about efficiency. And efficiency comes from wisdom. Wisdom is simply the ability to say, I don't need to pay that price. Someone else already did. So live with your eyes open. Listen when people speak of their failures. Read the books that capture lives, both the triumphs and the tragedies. Attend the seminars, watch closely. Every mistake you can borrow becomes another mile you don't have to stumble through yourself. That's the only real shortcut for success. Not luck, not magic, not skipping the work. The shortcut is wisdom borrowed from the pain of others. And if you'll live by that, you'll not only succeed, you'll succeed sooner, stronger, and with a lot fewer scars.